Yo, what up, y'all? Hey, in 8 minutes, it's going down. It's going down. So get your snacks, get your drinks, do all of that good stuff. Go pee, take a doo-doo real quick if you got to, and then come back. And tell your friends, too. Go tell your friends, man. Tell them it's lit. In 7 minutes. In 7 minutes, episode 6 of TNT. Y'all know what it is. Thursday night trash talk. It's going down. And we got a lot to talk about. A lot of camera stuff to talk about tonight, man. So I'll be back. Oh, wait, that's the wrong camera. Wait 1 minute. Hold up. What is this all about? Hold up. Let me go back. Hold up. I don't know what just happened. Hold on. I got to fix this. All right, boom. There we go. I don't know what that crap was all about. What up, y'all? Let me get my audio in check. Let me get all of that in check. Let's get some tunes going real quick. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. All right, how about that? Let's drop that on there. There we go. Oh, yeah, that's the kind of vibe I like, man. I likes that. All right, let's see where we at. Hold up. Oh, I messed up again. Hold up. There we go. All right, there we go. We in there now. We good. We good. Everything is straight, man. All right, man. What's up, y'all? I hope you're having a good day. You know who it is. It's TerryWarfield. Let me cut this music down just a little bit. Hope everybody is well, man. It looks like we got a nice little crowd in here already. Let me know if audio is good. Let me know if the visual feed is good. What we looking like, man? Is everything straight before we get started? Because we got a lot to talk about tonight, man. So somebody in the chat, let me know. Is the audio straight? Is the video feed straight? Is the background music? Is it too loud? I need feedback. And then we'll get into the roll call. So yeah, I need somebody to let me know how we looking. Good to see y'all, man. Castle Life, good to see you. We shall be doing a roll call soon, but I need somebody to tell me if everything is good. So let's. I hear we clear for takeoff. I hear we are clear for takeoff, man. That's good news. I'm in a great mood today, and I hope y'all are too. So we'll give a few minutes, you know, before we jump into the meat and potatoes. Give everybody a chance to come through. We got some things to talk about. But yeah, man, this is episode 6 of TNT, Thursday Night Trash Talk. And we will get into the official stuff in a second, all right? But for now, we just going, I just want to say what's up to everybody, see how everybody doing. Y'all are going to hear my smoke detector going off in the background. I'm not about to go change the battery, so you just going to have to deal with it. I don't want to hear no comments about the freaking smoke detector, yo, because I'm not changing it. I'm not about to change it right now. And lastly, there's no coffee tonight. I did not make coffee because I'm in a great mood, man. I'm already hyped up. I'm already amped because we got so much to talk about. If you are here in the stream already, I need you to do me a couple favors. Number one, I need you to smash the like button. That's absolutely necessary. You got to hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds. Hit the like button. That's number one. So if you haven't done that, now is your opportunity to do that now. Hit the like button, man. Go ahead and do it right now, man. We ain't got no time to wait, because once we get into the convo, you're going to forget about it. So hit the like button. Also, if you don't mind, if you support the channel, you like what I do, man, take a second. Hit the share link, and then copy the link and go share it on like your favorite Twitter post or Instagram or Facebook. Get the word out there, man. Get the word out there. Tell people about it. So we'll give it like maybe another 2 minutes, and then we'll hop into the roll call. Then I got something I want to talk about real quick, and then we will get into the camera debate, man. The debate has to happen, and it has to happen tonight, live on the channel, because y'all know I'm the buff camera nerd. You know what I'm saying? I'm not changing the battery, man. Just get over it. Just act like that's not happening. But yeah, like the stream if you haven't done so already. And about another minute, we'll get into the roll call. Like I said, I got something brief I want to talk about, and then we will get into what everybody has come here for tonight. We got about 20 people in here right now. Usually as the stream goes on, people come in, you know, y'all know how that go, man. But I'm thankful for the ones that's here now. Y'all came, y'all could have been anywhere in the world on this Thursday night, and y'all decided to come kick it with your boy. We got the vibes going. I got the little light over here in the corner. Y'all know how much I paid for that? Right there. I want somebody to answer how much do you think I paid for that globe over there? Somebody shoot something out. Y'all gonna be so wrong. Y'all gonna be so wrong. Somebody let me know how much they think I paid for that. I know one of y'all about to say something crazy. I'm just waiting on it. Go ahead, I'm waiting. All right, so y'all want to be some suckers tonight. All right, cool. I paid. Okay, all right, we got an answer. Somebody said 20 bucks. 50 bucks from IKEA. 45 bucks. Nah. 35 bucks. No. No and no. That was $9. $9, baby. And it came from Lowe's. It's like a little no-name knockoff LED lamp, but it looks great, man. And as somebody just said, the fireball globe is setting off the smoke alarm, and that can change to different colors too. Red is just I'm using a custom LUT right now, and I just like the way red goes with it. So since we got everybody here, people starting to come in. What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 6 of TNT Live, man. If you're just getting here, do me a favor early, smash that like button. You might as well do it now, because if you don't do it now, you're gonna forget about it. So smash that like button. That's the first thing. The second thing, all of you guys asking about my streaming setup. I have conveniently taken the time out of my day to put all of that information in the description for you. So the light I use, the camera I use, the custom LUT that I use to get this whole vibe right here, the music, Ecamm. If any of y'all are into like live streaming, I'm using Ecamm right now. Ecamm is so freaking dope, yo, but it's only for Mac. It's only for Mac, so if you Windows, I don't really know what to tell you. But I'm not using a capture card to get this extra crispy feed from my A7 III. It's all done through software. So if you are a streamer or you live stream or anything like that and you want to test it out, you can try it out for 14 days for free. There's a link in the description. You don't need a credit card. You don't need a debit card. You literally try it out, and if you like it, then you can pay the monthly subscription depending on what you need. But Ecamm it just makes life so much easier. And lastly, the music is from Epidemic Sound. If y'all want to try that, there's a free 30-day trial in the description. And this whole vibe, like this whole cinematic look we got going right now, that's from a custom LUT that I made. And if y'all want to support the channel, you can click below and download the LUTs for yourself. They are $9.99, totally worth the money. There are 8 custom LUTs in there. But now that we got that out the way, don't be asking me questions about the setup. All the links are in the description. All right, we ready to roll out? All right, we got 26 people hot and ready. So let's go ahead and get on with this roll call. Let me start at the top. Welcome everybody. We about to get into some real live, I'm gonna cuss on my stream shit. It's about to get real in here, okay? First of all, we got Matt Santana in the building. Team Canon. Hey, watch your mouth, dog. All right, that Canon is looking nice. We're gonna talk about that in a second. KB from LB, my dog. What's up? Thank you for coming through. I like this music. The vibe is here. I like Christian Eli. What's up, man? We're gonna get back to all of these comments in 1 second. Ken Hall, what's good? Avram Christie, what up? Mark Coleman, what up? JD, man, what up, bro? Thanks for coming through. Eli, what up? Canadian, what up? Ken, I think I said what's up already, but I'm gonna tell you 2 times. What's up, baby? JW, what up? Kristen Eli, you get it 2 times. What's up? Ken Hall, what up again? My man Jason C in the building. What's up, man? Thanks for coming through. Thanks for coming through. My Castle Life, what's happening? Just Lane, what up? Gene Civil, what up? Thanks for letting me know my audio was good. Ken Williams, what's up? Stacy Morgan, What up, man? Audio is clear, background music is nice, and that low picture profile is amazing. That's what I like to hear. What's happening, man? All right, David M. Like button smash. There's 28 people in here. It better be 28 likes on this stream. It better be 28 likes. All right, please. All right, let's keep it going. Creative Nail in the building. What up, man? Iconic Mods in the building, man. Life with Adam in the building, man. Stacy Morgan, I think I already said what's up, but what's up again? My man C-Kid, Devin Bacon, Sergeant Lieutenant Gray Sweater is in the building. One of the mods. What's up, baby? Thanks for coming through. TC360, what's happening? JSK Enterprise, what's happening? You saw me on Original Dobo last night, and now we are here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining, man. I appreciate you, man. Ken is my dude, man. I was grateful to be on that stream. I was lit last night, too. Sean from Maryland, what's up? And then I think that just about wraps it up. That was a long roll call. 31 people in the building, man. Thank y'all for coming through on tonight's episode of TNT Live. Tonight is all about the camera talk, man. We talking cameras tonight, and that's it. My man Viper in the building. What's up, man? I just got done with the roll call, but I always got space for you, player. What's happening? Tonight we gonna talk about, y'all know what we about to talk about. But first, if you want to support the stream, you are permitted to super chat if you would like to. Not required. As y'all know, I say this every stream. Anything that gets super chatted in this stream goes back into the channel, and a lot of times I give it back out to other people. I got a great story for y'all. Last week, I think this was maybe a week and a half ago, right? I went to Starbucks, and I paid it for it. I paid somebody's way. But what I did is, as soon as I paid for it, I sped off. I sped off. So I did not give them a chance to catch me, to thank me. And that was it was double the pleasure, right? I got the satisfaction out of doing something great for somebody. And then knowing right after that, I know they wanted to tell me thank you, but I got away before they got a chance to tell me thank you. So yeah. But yeah, super chats are not required. If anybody does want to donate to the stream, super chats are there. I definitely appreciate it. Not required. If you want to skip the whole YouTube robbing us of 30% of our money, my Cash App is in the description too. If y'all like what I do, support what I do, want to support the channel, always appreciate it. But now that we got that out the way, we got the money out the way. We talked about the roll call. We did that. There's one thing I want to talk about real quick before we get into the camera news, right? And that is, on the channel, we finally, and I say we because I consider y'all my family, right? I don't like that subscriber word and all of that. I consider everybody that subscribed to me, that interacts with me on a daily basis, we family, yo. And finally, I don't know if somebody gave it a thumbs down. Who cares? Whatever. I mean, obviously we want the thumbs up, but some people just come through and hate. I probably know who it is already, but that's neither here nor there. But it took me a long time, man, but finally, if you look down there below the video feed, you will see the channel is finally at 10,000 subscribers, and I got some hand claps, man. Hold up, I gotta do it. Wait a minute. Let me turn that up. Hold up. Yeah, it was hard, man. I'm gonna do it one more time. It was difficult, okay? It was difficult. All right, now that I got the way, let me get the jams back going. All right, and then let me turn that down just a tad. All right, so yeah, 10,000 subscribers, man, was actually one of the most challenging things I've ever done in my life. It was so much work. Oh man, and it seems like a time for such little payoff, but if you keep at something, man, you be persistent, you keep your foot on the gas, and even when everybody telling you to stop, that's what happens, man. So I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you to each and every freaking one of y'all that supports this channel, that keeps coming back video after video, that's constantly sharing my tweets and all of that, man. Hey yo, I never thought nobody would be interested in a buff dude that likes filming, and here we are. So thank you. Thank you. It's actually 10,000, close to 800 now. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. It's just getting started. The time is here. The TerryWarfield era is here. And I am so pumped and so hyped to have each and every one of y'all on board. I'm about to cry. Man, I'm getting sentimental. But now that that's out the way, man, yo, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Let's talk about this, man. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. The Canon R5 and the Canon R6 have been officially unveiled. And boy, I swear after that I need a cigarette and I don't even smoke. I mean, oh my God. Listen, man, I'm gonna give y'all, so most of y'all know I'm diehard Sony, right? Right now I'm using the Sony A7 III. And for me, it's been my workhorse camera because it checks so many boxes that I need a camera to check. And listen, everybody's different. You know, all of this is people like arguing back and forth, like dogging each other over cameras. I mean, come on, man, it's cameras. Like, but anyways, we're gonna talk about all of the issues and all that stuff in a second. But I'm giving you my story on why I'm such a diehard Sony shooter. Because first of all, when I first got my real camera, I started with Sony. So obviously you start with something and people like comfortable things, so I stuck with it. And here we are. I got a Sony A7 III and over there a Sony A6300. And for me, Sony does a lot of things right. And the Canon is doing a lot of things right too. So you Canon fanboys in here, I know y'all in the comments, I already see it. Y'all ain't here, oh, Canon this, Canon that. Listen, we getting to that, man. But I'm telling you right now why I've stuck with Sony, right? All right, best image quality, right? Okay, that's debatable. Most dynamic range out of anything in this ballpark. Most dynamic range, nothing comes close. No Canon camera around this price point comes close to the A7 III when it comes to dynamic range, right? All right, so first we had dual card slots, huge battery, amazing 4K, even though it was only 8-bit. The container file, the codec was still fire, right? XAVC, 100 megabits per second. Without getting too technical, it's for the average person, it's plenty of detail, plenty of data. And that was cool with me, because I've made some straight fire with the A7 III and the A6300. What else? In-body stabilization. Y'all know I'm the slow-mo king, so having 1080p at 120 frames per second. Best-in-class image quality. Crazy low... I'm not talking about crazy low light performance. And then obviously you got the Sony ecosystem, which they have like over 60 native lenses. So it's just lenses everywhere. And then you got Tamron, Sigma, Viltrox. Like you got all these Canon, you got all these places making lenses for, right? So up until now, I haven't had a reason to switch, because even though there's been other cameras that have more features for the price point, the Sony A7 III has been feature-wise one of the best cameras for the $2,000 price range. Who gonna argue with me? Go ahead. Start your little argument in the chat, because I'm gonna shoot it down, right? The EOS R came out, and it was a good effort from Canon. The EOS R was a great camera. Is a great camera. However, it had some things missing that should have never been missing in the first place. The R6 that just got announced is what the R5 should have been. So what's the positives for Canon? And I'm using all of this as a precursor, because we're going to talk about this moving forward, right? What does Canon offer, right? I just gave you all of this great stuff about Sony, but what about Canon? Does Canon suck, Terry? No, Canon doesn't suck, man. Canon has a lot of things going for it. Number one, lens ecosystem, right? Not only do you have RF lenses, which are the new mount lenses, but a lot of times all you gotta do is slap an adapter on it and you can use any of Canon's older glass. That's the first thing. The second thing that Canons are amazing at is user experience. And I gotta say that like 10 times. User experience. And the reason I say that is because if I got this 1,000 horsepower car, but it's shit to drive, then how good is it really? Right? That's a good analogy, right? So some people do prefer user experience over all of the specs. And for those people, I'm not mad at. And the EOS R is legit one of the smoothest cameras I've ever used. Man, I'm telling you, like, the EOS R is like a freaking Apple device. That's how it feels. Like, that's how easy it is to use. And not only is it easy, you get to touch the screen and do this and do that, right? It's just easy to use. All of the apps that come with it, like transferring files back and forth, the Canon just makes easy. Color science, the Canon just makes easy. User experience is just an easy to use camera. The camera does the thinking for you, whereas the Sony cameras, you got to do the damn thinking for the camera because they're complex, right? So I'm saying that to give you perspective of why most of the people I know that shoot Canon, why they shoot Canon. Now, I always was intrigued by what the EOS R offered, right? Because it was such a great camera, but it was just limited by so many things that were important to me. No in-body stabilization, no 1080p 120. It was like 1080p at 720p with no sound and no autofocus. Like, what the hell? No. No dual card slots, no stabilization. So it was there, but it just missed the mark. So enter the Canon EOS R5 and EOS R6. Wow. And I mean, wow. Now we have a dilemma. But before we get into those, let me go back and hit some of these questions because I got some questions. All right. I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. Maybe we'll get through like 10 questions and then we'll get back on subject. All right. Does the R5 have 6K options? No, it does not. The R5 only has 8K options, 4K options, and I believe, I don't know, it might be 1080p, I'm not sure, but there are no 6K options. You get 8K DCI, which is full width 4K. You get 8K HDR. You also get 8K RAW. All of those modes in 8K, I mean, even though they have limits, which we'll talk about in 1 second, to answer your question, no 6K, all right? Let's see. Apparently, he's going to get, okay, wait. Okay, I really wonder what the rationale was for the R5 not having 120 frames per second on 1080 when it's obviously capable. Okay, let's talk about specs. Since we already around the corner now, let's talk about specs. What are we getting for all of this money? First of all, price. I told y'all when the Canon EOS R5 was gonna get announced, it was gonna be around $4,000. I told y'all. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. First I said $6,000 and I backed up. I said around $4,000. And where did it come in at? $38.99. Now, what the hell are you getting for all of that money? Because that's a lot of money that I cannot afford. I ran a poll on Twitter, and after about 1,600 votes, most people decided that I should sell my right kidney over my left kidney. And I thought that was messed up. Like, why you ain't pick the left one over the right one? I mean, I guess that's messed up too. But anyways, real quick, big shout out to Mark Coleman with the super chat, man. Here's the 10K. I appreciate you, man. $5. Hey, it's $5 more than this channel had before. So thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. Now, specs. Some people are talking about some of the specs with the R5, right? So in a nutshell, the Canon R5 can shoot basically all modes in DCI. If you don't know what that means, there's Ultra HD and then there's DCI 4K, right? 4K DCI is just like the full frame, I mean the full width of 4K, whereas Ultra HD technically is not. So you get that. You get up to 30 frames per second, 8K in RAW with autofocus. Man, it's okay, let me finish. Okay, so not only do you get 8K, you get 8K RAW. You also get 8K up to 30 frames per second, and I believe all IPB and HDR. C-Log also, again with autofocus, again with sound and all of that stuff, which is crazy, right? Then you move down to 4K. Oh, and by the way, no crop. No crop in 8K. Full sensor readout, no crop. R6 has a crop, but the R5, no crop. So we got to nip that in the bud, because that's one of the things we hated with the Canon EOS R was the 4K crop, right? Now the EOS R6 does have a crop, but the R5, 8K, no freaking crop. With autofocus, you can do RAW. All of this is happening internally at 10-bit, which is nuts. Now, we got to step back for a second, man. There's been so many people complaining like, well, why is there a record limit? Or it's overheating. I mean, come on, man. We're getting close to the limits of physics. And that's just to be honest. Listen, we asked for all of this crap. We asked for internal 10-bit. We asked for 8K RAW. We asked for this. We asked for that. But we don't want a camera that's too big. And then we get mad when they come out with a camera that might potentially overheat when it's shooting 8K 30 frames per second RAW internal. It's physics, man. All of that gadgetry requires power. And when you use power, heat is generated. And y'all wanted a small body. Where do you suppose that heat will go? So here's my question. If you want a camera, here's my statement. If you want a camera that has all of this stuff built into it, but you don't want it to overheat or have a 30-minute record limit, which, that's kind of unforgivable, but whatever. If you want a camera that does not overheat, then you need to go get like a Panasonic S1H that has a body the size of my freaking MacBook Pro, but it has built-in fans, or get you a cinema camera, because it doesn't matter whether it's Sony, Canon, anybody who stuffs 8K 30 frames per second RAW internally is gonna have heat problems. All right, now let's get back to talking about the R5 specs. Okay, so now you get 4K 120 frames per second, no 1080p 120 frames per second, which is BS. Like, y'all, I know like you might put that in the software update, but do you think the Panasonic S1H needed a software update to have all of the freaking frame rates that it has? No. Get it together, Canon. That's what I just said, David. Grab a cinema camera if you don't want overheating, man. Listen, let's get back to the specs. 4K 120 frames per second in Canon C-Log, all eye, IPB, 10-bit internal at 422. Okay? We're going to talk about 8K in a second. Then you got dual card slots. You got an SD card slot, which is UHS 2, plus a CF Express slot. Now, the only issue I see with that setup, the EOS R5 can do 20 frames per second electronically. And if you got the camera set to record the both cards at the same time, and the CF Express is so much faster than the UHS 2 card, how is that going to work? Anyways. But you got up to 8 stops of stabilization, which is crazy. That's like freaking gimbal-like if you slap on a lens that's got electronic stabilization built into it. 45 megapixel full frame sensor, right? Dual card slots, built-in bigger battery. I'm missing a lot. I should have had it pulled up, but okay. 30-minute record time, XYZ. Let's talk about 8K real quick. Is 8K necessary? Do we need 8K? I don't think the world is ready for 8K. Even though the Canon may have it with its limitations, which it can only record like 8K like before cutoff, before the heat cutoff for a few minutes. Who's really gonna shoot 8K? Okay, now let me go back. Is the world ready for 8K? 99% of us have no use for it because there are disadvantages to 8K. First of all, storage. A 8K 5-minute file is gonna take up so much space. Okay, so that's the first issue, storage. The second issue is processing power. Half of us don't even have computers that can handle 4K. right? Hold on, Matt. I'm getting to that. Half of us don't even have cameras that can edit 4K. So somebody getting 8K is like, okay. Now, are there advantages for 8K? Yes. Oh, Ariel S. Shout out to you, man. $10 for the super chat. Cheers to 10K. Sony gang all day. Thank you very much, man. Hey, I really appreciate it. That was not required, but I definitely appreciate the contribution, man. Thank you. And that's why he's one of my biggest supporters on top of that. But back to 8K. Okay. Are there benefits to 8K? Sure. Mainly, I mean, obviously resolution, which most of us won't be able to take advantage of. You could downscale or down-res 8K to 4K and get a super sample 4K image. Hey, you can do the same thing with 4K to 1080, and you see how that 1080 look when it's downsampled from 4K. So yeah, the capability is there. Two major things from 8K. 8K will give you the ability to reframe and post. And reframe, add any type of warp stabilization, any of that stuff, and still have room to play with when it comes to keyframing around your whatever's left of that resolution after you warped in, after you use warp stabilizing. So that's that. On top of that, a 8K image will give you a 33 megapixel still image. So for you people that don't like doing thumbnails or taking separate thumbnails, if you film it in 8K, one still from 8K is 33 freaking megapixels. Okay, but yeah, not only is the storage expensive, if we talk about the Canon EOS R5, the CF Express cards are not cheap at all. So all of these things like compound, like for you to get into 8K, that's an investment. You know what I'm saying? And 99% of people watch YouTube in 480p. 99% of people don't even have the bandwidth to stream in 4K. So, a lot of people getting the EOS R5 are just getting it to say, yo, I got 8K. They trying to brag off their E-Pin. You know what I'm saying? Like, my camera can do 8K. What can yours do? And again, there are uses for it, but the average person shopping in front, listen, most people that are in the market for a new camera will not ever use 8K. They won't. The cost of entry is just too high. Okay, now let's talk about the photography side of it. That thing is armed to the teeth with freaking video. I mean, you talk about future proof, man. Not only that, it's got a 35 megapixels 35 megapixel sensor. No, 45, my bad. Wait, which is it? Now I gotta look this shit up. I done forgot already. Hold up. Is it 35 or 45? Somebody, EOS R5 megapixels. 45. Yep, 45. So 45 megapixels. Here's my issue with Canon and sensors. And this is why a lot of people still prefer Sony. This is why I prefer Sony still. Because dynamic range. I've used EOS R files before. You cannot push those files like you can a Sony file. I can unintentionally or intentionally underexpose or overexpose in RAW a Sony file and still pull all of that shit back in post. You cannot do that with an EOS R. Oh yeah, and it does have a crop mode of 20 megapixels, which is crazy. But yeah, so this is supposed to be a new sensor, right? But all of this sounds great on paper. However, Canon just never can get it right when it comes to sensor. Now color science, yes, but when it comes to like tweaking their sensors to get the most dynamic range, they a step behind Nikon. They a step behind Sony. Two steps behind Sony. Because what I can do with A7 III files is literally freaking bananas. But we got to see. They say it's all new sensor. And it's supposed to have improved dynamic range and ISO sensitivity. At the end of the day, $38.99. Oh, man. I don't think I can make that type of jump. First of all, I get it. Yeah, it's a lot of camera for the money. And honestly, if it lives up to all of the hype and it does everything it's supposed to do right, you can't really find a better camera for the money if everything holds true. Now, we know Canon got a way of sneaking in bands and cripples. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, it's hard to argue with that sucker. Sony got to come with the guns blazing. Sony got to come with the guns blazing. Because I'm about to go ahead and I'm about to light Sony up. I got to do it. And then we'll talk about the R6 after that. Sony got to come with the guns blazing. Now, like I told y'all, I'm diehard Sony. I love Sony cameras. Sony, hey, everything Sony, yo. But they got to get it together. Right now, before I pivot, let me go back and tell y'all a couple things. If anybody's new here, welcome. I know I've been rambling on and talking hella shit, but welcome. If you want to know how the stream is set up, how I got this look, all of the links are in the description. All of the equipment I use, the streaming software I'm using, which is Ecamm. There's a free 14-day trial in the description, as well as the music came from Epidemic Sound. And this whole vibe right here, I made that. It's one of my custom LUTs, and you can check that out. Also, there have been a few people who have contributed to the stream already. If you like what you see and you support TerryWarfield, please consider super chats. They open. You can send them. Also, my Cash App is in the bio if you wanted to contribute to the stream. Not required. And also, if you are in here getting entertained, listening to this camera banter, make sure you drop a like. Drop a like. Make yourself known with a comment also. And lastly, if you here and you ain't subscribed, make sure you do it now. Okay? Now, let's talk about Sony. My folks are so. Listen, I love Sony camera. They send me stuff, man. I buy Sony products. They have made some of the best photography cameras out there. Just be honest. They have the best sensors out there in consumer grade full frame cameras and crop sensor cameras. Let's be honest. But there's just some things that they just won't do. Now let's use the Sony A7R IV as an example. That camera is free. That's the best photography camera under $4,000 that you can buy. Mirrorless. Nothing else can compete with it. 61 megapixels, crazy dynamic range, the fastest autofocus you can get out there, dual card slots, great battery life, and body stabilization. All of the kit and caboodles, but the Achilles heel, 2 Achilles heels that Sony refuses to fix, which could be fixed in the upcoming A7S III. I'm just putting it out there because that camera's being rebuilt from the ground up. But 2 Achilles heels, man. Number 1, the freaking menu system. Oh my God. Sony, you can't tell me that a group of software engineers can't come together and redo the software for Sony cameras. On top of that, every other camera manufacturer out there has a touch sensitive interactive interface. And Sony does not. Oh, that's don't tell me my lips was chapped. Come on, man. All right, the second thing that they just won't get right, the video codecs, right? Let's take it all the way back. Let's take it all the way back to the A6000. I just peeped the comment. Lynch here said, as a software engineer, you put too much faith in software. Listen, man, they got the money. Hire some good ones. If the ones y'all got is booty cheeks, hire some good ones. Hire some good ones, man. It's no reason. Like, I could go pick up a Panasonic G7 that has a better menu system than my multi-$1,000 Sony A7 camera. What on earth? And the dog is barking. Don't know why he's barking. But, hey, man. Hey, Macho. Hush, man. Sorry, that's the dog barking. And he's wild. But, okay, let me get back on subject, even though the dog is barking. It's ridiculous that they can't get it together. Now, on the A7 III group on Facebook, there is somebody on there who already has a working mock-up of Sony's menu design. So if one person can do it, you can't tell me that they can't hire, with all the money, resources, and technology that Sony has, to rebuild a menu system. And what is the point of a touchscreen that I cannot touch except for to change focus points? They got to get that together. Now, again, Sony does a whole lot of stuff right, but those two things they have to get together. Now, let's talk about the A7S III real quick and what it better have, and then we'll end up with the Canon R6, and then we'll go through comments and stuff like that. Canon has effectively waged war on the entire camera space. They said, you a sucker, you a sucker, and you a sucker. And they came out guns blazing. And Sony now, 2 weeks ago, has said that the A7S III is on the horizon. What that means, hell if I know. However, from what they say, it's supposed to be an entirely new camera from the ground up. New sensor, new codecs, new everything. They have to come out with guns blazing. That means an A7S III with an articulating touch interactive interface. A screen, right? Now, we did hear rumors already that the A7S III does have a 9 million dot EVF, which is straight bananas, because the R5 is only 5.6 million, right? But they got to have that. I'm cool with a A7S III with a lower megapixel count, because as we're about to talk about with the Canon R6, lower megapixels means better low light performance. That's what the original A7 II was known for, is crazy low light performance in video, because it only had a 12 megapixel full frame sensor. So I'm cool with like a 24 megapixel. I'm cool with a, whatever. I'm cool with whatever sensor they put in there, because if it's anything like the A7S II, I know it's going to be fire in low light. Now, Orlando just brought up a good point. There's two new cameras coming. One is a, like, I forgot, like the Alpha 5 or something like that. It's supposed to be like, I don't know. I think it's going to be like a Canon EOS RP competitor, but we'll see. Okay. Real quick, Alfred with the $15 super chat, man. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for contributing and for supporting the stream. But we got to get back on topic, man. What does the A7S III need to have? Because at this point, I'm thinking about possibly considering a Canon. Not because it's a need, because honestly, all of our cameras that we have now are more than capable enough. But Sony has to bring it up to par with other cameras. Okay? And what do I mean by that? 8-bit 420 video is no longer acceptable. Nada. No. If it don't have 10-bit internal, I don't care about 8K. I'm just throwing that out there. If it don't have 10-bit internal, at least, I don't even need 6K, at least 4K 120 frames per second. And either S-Log or, I mean, listen, S-Log is pretty much useless on the A7 III because it's 8-bit. S-Log technically needs 10 or 12-bit. Okay, but anyways. All right, I need 10-bit internal. I don't need RAW. I don't record in camera RAW. I need 10-bit internal. I need 4K 120 frames per second at minimum. 4K 60 is not enough. Not for a flagship, not for Sony's heater, not for Sony's R5 killer. No. Maybe for the R6. Okay, no. But for the R5, if Sony wants to remain competitive, they got to bring, I'm saying I'm cool with at least 4K 120. They got to at least come with 6K. 6K raw. They got to at least be able to come with 6K raw internal. Right? 4K 120 frames per second. They also got to give us a better codec. XAVC and 100 megabits per second is no longer acceptable. No. You can't give us that. Got to up the megabits per second. We can keep the XAVC codec, but they need to be able to shoot at least 6K raw. Right? The autofocus is there. I'm not mad about the autofocus. We need better image stabilization, okay? And I'm not mad at them not giving up XAVC. Like, they can't, it's their codec, and it's a highly efficient codec. And Matt, before you say that, okay, 100 megabit XAVC looks better than 400 megabit IPB. Hey, the XAVC is a highly efficient codec. However, to remain competitive with the big dogs, they got to come on up out of that. They got to come on up out of that. Now, next thing, we got to have a flip out screen. A flip up screen? Nah, no. A flip up screen is not acceptable. A flip out screen on an A7S III. The next thing, I better be able to touch it and mess with the menu. The next thing, it better have full-size HDMI out. I'm so sick of camera companies putting mini and micro HDMI in cameras. They just did it with the R5. The R5 has micro. Nobody wants micro. Put full-size HDMI in there. Okay? Next, like I said, 10-bit internal. We need a better image stabilization system. I'm just throwing that out there. The stabilization in the A7S III, it's not the best. I mean, it's better than nothing. Don't get me wrong. And it does help smooth out shots. It does. Like, one thing you can't say, no, it's not the best. It ain't Panasonic level stabilization, but it's better than nothing. But we need more. We need more. We need more out of the stabilization to be competitive. Now, sensor-wise, I actually want them to stay at 24 megapixels. I know that sounds crazy. Leave the A7R series for the high megapixel lovers. 24 megapixels is the sweet spot when it comes to dynamic range. The only issue is now that I think about it, they can't, because you can't get 6K out of a 24 megapixel sensor. So they're going to need to up the resolution. All right, but yeah, whatever. All right, so yeah, HDMI, full HDMI. XLR would be nice, but let me tell y'all something. Sony has been in the cut not saying nothing. And y'all know the quiet person in the room is always the one that'll whoop your ass. You gotta listen. Sony has been chilling, man. Think about to when the A7 III came out. They smacked everybody with the A7 III. I mean, literally was like, shut up, punk. Your camera is irrelevant now. And I really think that they're going to do the same thing with the Sony A7S III. I hope that they do the same thing. Oh, that's a good one. Dual native ISO, so you can do log at 800 ISO natively. Yes, totally agree. The A7 III does not have dual native ISO, but it's got dual channel, I think, some crap like that. Anyways, but yeah, that's a good point. All right. Y'all made me forget. Yo, yeah, Sony has been in the cut chilling, yo. In the cut straight chilling, which makes me think that they are intentionally waiting for everybody else to put their cards up so that they can come through and throw in the best hand possible, because they did it with the A7 III. So that's my speculation. Is a lot of people have said that the R5 is gonna be straight street sweeper mode for everything out there, and it could be. You like the R5 is, whoo, that's a bad mamma jamma right there. That's a bad mamma jamma. But I gotta hold out because, first of all, when you are already invested into a camera system like Sony, it makes it a lot harder. And it puts us in a pickle, right? Because the R6, let's just go ahead and talk about that real quick. The R6 is only $24.99. That's launch price. We know, like, right after the EOS R came out, within 3 months, it was down $200 from coupons and discounts. The launch price of the R6, is $24.99. All right? It gives you 80% of the stuff you get with the Canon EOS R5. And 80% of what the EOS R5 offers is a hell of a camera. Real quick, I got to pause for the super chat. Alfred with another super chat of 25 bucks, man. Thank you so much for contributing to the stream, dog. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. All 47 people in here kicking it right now, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. If y'all want to, contribute to the stream, also super chats are open. If you don't want to get your money stolen by YouTube, because they take 30% off the top, the Cash App is in the description, or you could just contribute by dropping a like. That's it. Okay, but let's get back to it, man. The R5 is $38.99. The A7S III will be $4,000. I guarantee you. What Denzel say? I guarantee you. If I don't know anything, I know one thing in my life, and that's my word, and that the Sony A7S III is going to be $4,000. I guarantee you. $4,000. I'm going to put $37.99. $37.99, okay? It's going to be, it ain't going to be cheap. It's not going to be cheap, okay? Now, no. Let's go back to the EOS R6. All right? EOS R6, photography-wise, everything that the EOS R5 is, with exception to it's a 20 megapixel sensor. I think it's actually the one from the 1DX Mark III, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's the one from the 1DX Mark III, okay? But 20 megapixels means one thing: low light capability. And if you look at the spec sheets from the R5 versus the R6 native ISO goes up to 128,000. The ISO on the R5 goes up to 51,200. So that should tell you that due to physics, if you have less megapixels in the same area, then the photo sites can be bigger, which means better low light capability. It has the same autofocus system as the R5. It has the same in-body stabilization as the R5. It does have lower resolution EVF, a lower resolution EVF, and a lower resolution rear screen, the ones out of the EOS R, but that's not to say that anything bad, because the one out of the EOS R are better than the ones in the A7 III. You still get 20 frames per second electronic. You still get the joystick. You don't get the top screen like you do with the EOS R5. Like, you get all of the photography stuff from the R5 with a lower resolution sensor. How is it gonna stack up in real world? I don't know. Because the 1DX Mark III, the sensor is great for low light, but when it comes to dynamic range, it still ain't touching Sony. All right. Video is where it really gets tricky at. Oh yeah, the R6 also has dual card slots, but only UHS 2. No CF Express, because it can't do 8K. What did it need CF Express for? All right, so the R6 has dual card slots. However, only UHS 2 on both slots, right? Now, both cameras, the R5 and the R6, I just saw somebody mention recording times. Both of them have a 29-minute, 59-second record time, which is stupid. It's stupid for any camera at this point to have record times. I don't care about laws. I don't care about sanctions. I don't care about none of that shit. Get rid of the freaking record thing. I mean, the record limit. Nobody likes it. I mean, I've never gotten a situation where it's bothered me, but I just don't like limits. If I'm paying $4 grand for a freaking camera, do not put no limit on the amount I can record. I digress. All right, let's go back. R6 is now what camera can what can an R6 do? To me, the R6 is almost like a A7 III direct competitor. It's got dual card slots. It's got in-body stabilization. It's got a bigger battery. It's got autofocus. It's got a lower megapixel sensor. It's like everything the R should have been in the first place. Okay. But we're gonna get back to Sony stuff. We're gonna get back to Sony in a minute, all right? But yeah, the main difference is the resolutions and what you get with the R6. So the R6 tops out at 4K 60 internal 10-bit. No camera raw. No camera raw. It'll do IPB with autofocus, but no all eye in 4K 60. Let me go back. I think that might be wrong. Wait a minute. Talia, don't come down here right now. I'm jamming. Don't come down here right now. My daughter always trying to make a surprise entry. The Canon R6, while I'm looking this up, does have a crop in 4K. Whereas the R5 has no crop. So that's something else that we need to do. Video specs. Give me 1 second. Now listen, I went back to heating. I touched on this at the beginning, but you got to be realistic, yo. And you might have just came in and you might have missed it. We are asking a lot out of a small camera. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are asking it to do 8K raw. Like, you can't beat physics. You can't beat physics. If you want a camera that does all of that does not overheat, you got to get you a bigger body, like a Panasonic S1H that has fans. You got to get you a cinema camera that has the extra space and real estate inside for that heat to dissipate. Like, people want to complain that, people want to say, oh my God, it's 8K, 8K this, 8K that. It does 10-bit internal, XYZ. Like, the heat got to go somewhere. And I'm sure they didn't just slap a tiny bit of thermal paste on it and call it a day. They've been developing these for a long time. Obviously, it's a physics problem. And the A7 III the A7S III will suffer from the same issue if it's not in a bigger body. Okay, now going back to the R6, like I said, 20 megapixel. I got to get back to the video specs. Okay, so I did mention on the R5 it's got DCI 4K, which is amazing in all modes, right? Now, okay, so here we go. UHD 4K, not DCI, shooting at up to 60p, 120 frames per second at 1080p. And C-Log or HDRPQ 422 10-bit internal. Which there's like I said, a crop in 4K. Is that not more than enough than the average person could want? If you could give me an A7S, if you could give me an A7 III that did 4K, 60p, 10 internal, 422, and 1080p, which we already have at 120 frames per second, but it did all of that internally, I would be cool. Honestly, I wouldn't have any reason to want to upgrade because I'm not editing camera raw. And also, I personally don't need a heavy 400 megabits per second all-eye codec. It's just too heavy. For YouTube stuff, it's just too freaking heavy. Now, if I'm making, like amateur films or something like that, but yeah, if they gave me an A7 III with the Canon EOS R6 video specs, I would have no reason to switch. Sure, it wouldn't be perfect. I would still want the better touchscreen, better EVF, you know, better stabilization, but no camera's perfect. And it's $24.99. So here's the thing. A7 III users, are you thinking about switching to a EOS R6? I mean, it's a compelling argument. Ty City, man, thank you so much for the super chat, bro. I really appreciate that. Straight love, man. I appreciate that. The R5 is absolutely dominating. The R6, is that not basically enough for every person who's a content creator? I mean, think about it. It's basically like an A7 III on steroids, with the added benefit of having the Canon interface, right? The Canon interface. That is huge. That's huge. Now, somebody said something about the Panasonic S1H. Yo, ridiculous camera. However, 3 disadvantages with the Panasonic S1H. Number 1, autofocus. I don't care how good it is. If I wanted a camera with no autofocus, I would have bought a Blackmagic, or I would have got a cinema camera, which some cinema cameras are better than the S1H. But the autofocus on the S1H is not reliable, right? Now, the next thing is, and this is one of those things where people want to complain about heat, but the S1H has to be bigger because it has so much processing power inside. When you're recording at 6K raw internal, the heat has to go somewhere. What did they do? They beefed it up. They put fans in it. I wouldn't have been mad at a bigger body EOS R5 if it meant for them to maybe put some vents on the side or maybe a small fan in there at the expense of being able to run the camera longer without it overheating. Right? We already know the EOS R5 is going to be an overheating monster, but it's the byproduct of all of this crazy stuff that we want in cameras without getting a bigger body. And like I said, the A7S III is going to have the same freaking problem if it's in the same body and there's no ventilation. Okay? But yeah, the Panasonic S1H was a flawed camera. And the last thing is the lenses, man. Wow. Leica lenses, if you want to use that on S1H, are ridiculously priced. You thought G-Master lenses was crazy. You thought L series glass for Canon was crazy. Them Leica lenses, boy, absolutely nuts. So here's where we are now. You got the R6, which for most of us will be more than enough camera. You got the R5. The R6 is $2,500. Then you got to still consider glass if you are a Sony user. And you got the R5. That is literally bananas, packed to the core with features. Every camera spec we wanted. Every video codec and feature that we asked for. Sure, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to have some overheating problems. If that's the only problem, I don't know, because we haven't really seen that much real world use besides Peter McKinnon. And it's $38.99. The only thing that Sony has right now that's as well-rounded as the EOS R6 is the Sony A7 III. Now, I have a suspicion that the A7 IV is also going to be a beast. But we don't know when that's coming. We do know the A7S III is coming soon, but we don't know when that's coming. We know it's going to be soon, but we don't know. We know, however, that the R6 will be available in July. I'm sorry, the R5 will be available at the end of July. The R6, they said hopefully by the end of August. So we can get those now. We can take advantage of all of these new codecs, all of that stuff now. We can walk into a BH photo or dot camera at the end of July, if they have them in stock, and get access to 4K 60, 10-bit internal, 422 color sign. I mean, 422, what, I don't even know the word I'm looking for right now. Higher bit rates, etc. I'm talking like being a Sony user. everything that the A7 III can do, like the R6 can do, except for a lower resolution. And I don't think, like I said, if they didn't put a new sensor on it, if they just slapped the one from the 1DX Mark III in there, it ain't going to be able to touch the sensor from the A7 III. But here's the debate. Do you stay with Sony now if you're thinking about switching? Because let's be real. Like we talk this camera jazz, we talk this camera game, but really every camera that came out within the last 4 or 5 years is more than capable in the right hands, right? And like we said earlier, nobody give a shit about 8K. Nobody uses 8K. 90% of people ain't even watching in 480p. I mean 720p. Most people are on their phones at 480p. So is it like, do we need it? Do we need 8K? No. But that $24.99 Canon R6 presents a very, very, very attractive offer. So I guess we should just talk about now where I am with the whole thing. We just spent the last hour going over specs, going over what we want changed. I'm at a crossroads. I'm going to be honest. See, Sony, I love Sony, man, but I'm also a camera snob. And I'm also a content creator. RF glass is expensive, like Matt just said. CJ, what up, man? Finally, you came through, man. I've been going in. Big going in. But, you know, the A7 III is more than enough camera, to be honest with you. Like, I wanted the A7 III so bad, I finally got one. And honestly, like, I can continue on making amazing content with the A7 III. You know what I'm saying? So, wanting a new camera, like, this is not a necessity. This is not a, oh my God, I can't do my job with what I have. Because my A7 III is freaking amazing. And my A6300 is freaking amazing. Hell, the best camera is the one you got. But that don't mean I don't want it. I don't mean I don't want better. And I will be a liar, and CJ Knows Tech and C-Kid Tech will tell you, if I haven't been intrigued by the camera ecosystem, the Canon ecosystem, because of the user experience. So it's like, man, even though I love Sony, I could get all of this stuff that I got in Sony now on a Canon camera that also gives me the user experience that I want at a respectable price point. Or I could just wait, right? I could just wait because I know Sony cameras are coming. But the problem is we have no clue when. No clue when, right? And even when we know the A7S III is coming, that bad baby is gonna be a bag. $4,000. Now the benefit is I got Sony glass already. So if I wanted to switch to Canon, that means selling off glass, taking a hit on glass, taking a hit on cameras, and money has to come out of my pocket. So I lose. But if I wait it out with Sony, then I can still use my amazing A7 III because it is amazing. But the issue is, I mean, first world problems, right? Yeah, I don't get 4K 60. I don't get 10-bit internal. First world problems. How did I ever go without these things before, right? So the reason I'm saying that is because it's not a necessity. It is a want. And I can go get those things I want next month. Or I can wait. You're damned if you do. You're damned if you don't. Who just said that? Yeah, exactly. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Part of me wants to try out the R6. I'm not going to lie. The R5 is out the question. I will not get that because if I'm dropping the bag, it's going to be on the A7S III. But the R6 is a very, very interesting proposition. Will I actually make a move? I don't know. I've been losing sleep at night for the last who knows how long thinking about this. And again, it's not a necessity. None of this stuff is necessity. This is all nerd geek stuff. Nobody, do you know how many people would love to have the camera you have that can't afford it? Or maybe still got a Nikon D3200 wishing that they could get a better camera. So you got to be grateful for what you have. But there's nothing wrong, if you can afford it, with wanting better. And also, that's not to say that buying a better camera is going to make you a better photographer or a better filmmaker, because some of y'all are just booty cheeks. I'm trolling, but seriously, a better camera doesn't always mean that it's going to increase like your value. You know what I'm saying? So we're at a standstill. Let me go back through some of these comments, man. I've been talking, and then we'll do some questions, and then we'll go ahead and start wrapping this up in about 15 minutes. So I'm gonna start from the bottom. The 1080 120 on the A7 III is just okay. It is. It's very soft, man. It's 8-bit. It's not that great. Iconic. I want better iBiz. Yes. Silo card slot. Product priority. I don't think they're gonna put. I mean, you never know, because Sony likes taking features and then sprinkling them across the camera. So the new product mode from the ZV-1 will probably make its way into newer cameras, right? Sony said A7 III by the end of this summer. Why do I keep saying you have no idea when it's coming? Mike, are you asleep right now? Sony been saying the A7S III has been coming for 3 years, dog. That's why. I'd argue 4K 60 is a necessity. Could be to some people. I mean, what did we do without it? We did without it. So maybe necessity in the sense that to keep up with the times, yes. But for filming, it can't be a necessity if we went without it all this time. All right. Better off waiting, don't pull the trigger. I mean, yeah, the ideal situation will be for me to wait for the A7S III, so that way I ain't got to buy new glass, I ain't got to switch ecosystems. Kenny Williams said you can always get the adapter for EF glass, tons of choices. Correct. But a lot of people buying into the EOS mirrorless system want the benefits. Built-in ND filters, better lens handling, better optics. Guy with the camera said I was an R user for a while, then I figured the lenses were not for me. It was too expensive and not the lenses I wanted. That RF glass ain't no joke. I'm going all cell phone. That's the new full frame. Basil Tiffany, listen, I watched one of the dopest films I ever saw today on Twitter. Filmed with the iPhone. It's not the camera, it's the person behind it. A sharp knife is just a sharp knife until somebody picks something up and cuts some shit with it. CJ said user experience. Yeah, man, that's what I've been preaching this whole thing. They've caught up, Canon, because now they got specs and user experience, that's what I've been wanting. So that's where the dilemma is coming from. My Castle Life says, CT, I was supposed to be heading to Walmart, but you got me stuck here chilling. Hey, man, this is a great place to be, too. Ain't nothing at Walmart besides ratchetness. Jake Sloan, I'm planning on maybe getting the A7S III when it drops. Hey, me too. I still love the A7 III. I love my A7 III. Absolutely. Back to my point, guy with camera says, S1H does not overheat. More proper use. More proper to use. You want to know why it doesn't overheat? I don't want that. I don't want that. I'm going to make turkey tacos.
I'm going to make it for you.
Okay. Well, can you just cut the meat up and stuff? I'll put it. Okay. All right. I'm back. We reloaded. S1 doesn't overheat. More proper to use. The R5 is Canon doing what Sony did in the past. Flex before they could get cooling under control. That comment is... That's exactly what it is. Every Sony A7 camera and 6000 series camera has had overheating issues, right? And the reason why is because they want to make cameras smaller and smaller and smaller, yet we want to pack more technology into the cameras. At some point, you cannot outrun physics. That's all it is. It's too much heat, nowhere for it to go. so it overheats the components inside. Until they come up with some micro fan solution or some crafty way to put vents in the camera body without sacrificing its integrity, then this issue will always be present unless they start using silicon that generates less heat. That's it. All right. Canon will get the Sony rep from overheating from the R5. They will. I'm waiting to see I'm waiting to see Sigma lenses for the R5 and R6. That will be interesting. If Sigma starts blazing lenses and Tamron, which they need to get into Canon territory too, if they start blazing lenses, then this is a different conversation. Because then the RF lenses is not a $1,200 cost of entry for every freaking lens. All right. Kenny said, I don't mind a bigger camera body. Like I said, I would take a bigger camera body if it meant better cooling. All right. Guy with the camera. Nope, not switching. Giving Sony time to make things right. That's what I want to do. But, you know, they talk about these new cameras and then you get that itch. You like... And then all of a sudden, when your camera battery dies, you like, I can't do my job anymore. This camera's not good enough no more because the freaking battery died. I need an R5. That's how it goes. I need an R5. The freaking battery died. I had to swap a memory card. I need a Canon R5. Canon hands down has better autofocus. You are a liar. They are neck and neck now. All right, I'm up. Man, yeah, we talked about that. If Peter McKinnon is talking about heating issue, you know it's bad. We just talked about heat. And I think it's a double-edged sword because you're paying $4,000 for a camera. There should not be overheating, right? That's how our minds operate. But we also want, and I've said this probably 10 times now, we also want all of this crazy technology. No camera's perfect. Technology is not perfect. The R6 is the real A7 III killer. Killer? What? I wouldn't say killer. Okay. All right. I will. You gotta be honest, man. The only thing that the A7 III still has over the Canon R6 is, I'm sure, a better sensor, right? Better low light capability and Sony lenses. Because aside from that, everything that the Sony does, the Canon does. Dual card slots. 2 UHS 2 card slots, not one. And, you know, it's a fair statement is we also, like, it's not fair to compare the R6, which is a new camera, to the A7 III. The A7 III is 3 years old now. The better comparison will be A7 IV to Canon R6. I don't think there's going to be a competition at that point because the A7 IV is going to wipe the floor with the Canon R6. You heard it here first. The A7 IV will be $2,300 and it will wipe the floor with the Canon R6. But now, right now at this point, obviously it is better than the A7 III because it's 3 freaking years newer. So yes, video codecs, better. Stabilization, better. EVF displays, better. Ergonomics, better. Autofocus, better, arguably. But everything the A7 III does, the R6 does. But like I said, you want to have a real fair comparison, you got to revisit this when the A7 IV comes out. All right, 30-minute limit. We might as well get used to it. We don't like it, but it's there. It needs to have a flip out screen. Absolutely. Yep, I'm just going back through comments. Sony's camera is going to be expensive. The A7S III is going to be nuts. Aerial Guy. Big shout out to Aerial Guy for coming through. Would rather have a 4K camera that has great low light than a light hungry 8K. I totally 100% freaking agree. Max Europe said, The Canon R5, the Canon Rs will have the Sony heating issues. We shall see. We shall see. Yes, full-size HDMI. We talked about that. Sony really wants to kill it. I think we hit this comment already. 6K, 60 frames per second, 4K 120, 1080, 1040, 10-bit internal, way better IBIS, flip-out screen, ProRes. Did I mention better IBIS? Yeah, man. I don't think Sony will include ProRes, but, you know. And that screen got to flip out to the side. All right, I'm back at the bottom. Go through these last few comments. We'll take some questions, some comments. I would like to thank everybody who has been rolling so far. Don't leave yet. We ain't done. All right, last few comments, and then we'll get some Q&A going, right? All right. Jake Sloan, preach it. Big shout out to Jay. KB from LB. Sold all of my... Whoa. Woo. Sold all of my Sony A7 III and A7R III and glass to get Canon EOS R RF lenses. Got tired of hauling around that gear. Did not use it enough as a creator. Wow. Okay. That's fair. Basil Tiffany, my current kit can truly take stunning pics and video. I don't need new bodies. Hey, like I said, man, these are not necessities. Maybe they are for like some people, but for the average person, this is just camera wars. Any camera made within the last 4 or 5 years is good or freaking enough. We need a better LCD screen. We already know that. That will come on a better Sony, on the next Sony camera. The histogram on Sony also is trash. You know whose histograms and false colors and everything I love more than any other camera? Panasonic. And here's the thing. On a Panasonic camera, I can move my waveforms, my histograms. I can move them all around the screen. Okay. Booty cheeks creator. I'm not mean, man. I'm just joking with y'all. My new drawers have arrived today. That's dope. That's amazing. I'm glad you got some new drawers. Ooh, the LCD on the A7 III is like watching League Pass in standard definition. Ooh. Yeah, man. The A7 III LCD is trash. You know, a lot of times when I'm doing photo shoots, I have to tell clients like, yo, don't pay attention to that back screen. Look through the eyepiece. So they at least need a eyepiece and a screen that matches at least the EOS R, right? Computational photography is the way it's going, and within 5 to 6 years, then the average camera is going to be like doo-doo. That's a great point. We talk about this and how companies are starting to use machine learning and computational photography to compensate for things that physics necessarily can't beat anymore. And I said this on original Dobo stream last night. Once we get to a point where these camera companies start implementing computational photography and pushing the limits of physics in one camera body, it's a wrap. Should I get a camera? Absolutely. I firmly believe everybody should have a camera. You want to know why I think everybody should have a camera? Think about it. Think about it. With the click of a button, we have no real time machines in life, right? I'm sorry, I hear my daughter. We have no real time machines in life. But with a camera, with one click of a button, I can freeze this moment right here in time. How dope is that? How dope is that? I think everybody should own a camera, whether it's the one on your phone. If that's not good enough, then get a better one. But the camera is the only piece of engineering ever that's been able to capture a moment in time and allow you to relive that moment whenever you want to. That's why you should have a camera. Yep. All right, so Basil Tiffany, that's one of the reasons I went with a Panasonic body. I'm tired of poorly designed tiny bodies. I'll take a bigger, heavier body and enjoy the best ergonomics on the market. Hey, I ain't mad at you. Kenny Williams says, but I've had overheating issues with my A7 III. It only goes away with the battery grip. I have never had A7 III heating issues. Now with my A6300, that thing over there, 8 minutes of 4K and it's screaming like a baby. But with the A7 III, I filmed in super hot conditions. I've never had an overheating warning on my A7 III, and I use it. Like that, CJ and Devin will tell you, I take that camera everywhere. Quantum physics, super cool chips that don't produce much heat. I haven't had coffee, don't know what I'm talking about. That's fair. Like I said, we're going to continue to have these heating problems until either the bodies get bigger or we get silicon. And you got to think about it. They're making 6-7 nanometer chips now. You know what I'm saying? Once camera chip technology evolves to a point where we have more efficient processors and stuff like that in them, then maybe we will get some cooler internals. But, you know. All right, anybody getting that new 3K lens? Okay, great point. Sony 12 to 24 f2.8. I was lucky enough to be on the media interview. Well, not media, the behind the scenes, the pre-press release for the Sony 12 to 24. And I'll be getting one within the next week or two to review. But I will tell you that lens is nuts. It ain't nothing like that lens out here, period. If Tamron were on Canon, I pre-ordered the R6 right now. Yo, Tamron, need to get it together. Josh Vergara, what's up, dude? Sits over here with his Olympus EM5 and Panasonic GH5. Hey, man, the best camera is the one you got. And that GH5, till this day, you know what's crazy? The GH4 is still a monster. And the GH5, even though it's pushing 3 years old, is still a monster. Are y'all ready to drop thousands on memory cards? Yeah, if you get that R5, you will be. 85 films. Does the 4K 60 and 4K 120 have autofocus? Yes. Absolutely on the Canons. Autofocus in all modes. Sound in all modes. The only issue is if you are recording in RAW or all-I, the audio will cut off about 2 seconds before the clips ends. It's got something to do with processing. Micro Four Thirds is incredible. A lot of y'all don't know. A lot of the movies y'all watch on TV were shot on Micro Four Thirds cinema cameras. So, hey, don't sleep on crop sensor and Micro Four Thirds. Who in Chicago? We should have a meetup. I am not in Chirac. I am in Cleveland, Ohio. What gear did you use before Sony? I've always used Sony gear. I've ventured off and used other gear here and there, but I always come back to Sony. Canon fans will take the Canon overheating all day because the Canon fans need this R5. The same people that were trolling Sony over overheating will praise the R5. We'll see. Camera conspiracies. What's up, man? Canon R5, Alaska's favorite camera. What's the best small package? Hey, by the way, Camera Conspiracies is one of my favorite channels. Big shout out to you for coming through, man. I watch all of your videos. KB from LV says, I want the best small package to pack with me, watching and waiting. I think we all in the cut waiting. We'll show this message. Vinny Ramirez said, I think Sony's menu settings are difficult. Yeah. Oh, he said he thinks that the settings are difficult. Comment is bullshit. Listen. No, Vinny. You're wrong, dude. You're wrong. And the reason why I say you're wrong, yes, if you sit there and learn Sony's complex menu system, obviously anything you learn becomes easy. But comparatively speaking, dog, go pick up an EOS R. Then let's have this conversation again. It's not the same. Yes, I know my menu system on my Sony in and out, but that's because I've had 5 Sony cameras. And I've accepted that the menu system is trash, and I've taken the time to customize it and all of that. Go pick up an EOS R. User experience, man. That's where Canon wins. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out Canon's menu or Panasonic or Fuji. Everybody else can get it right except for Sony. Even though Sony gets so many other things right, user experience is a huge part of using a camera. It's a freaking user experience. You're wrong. You're wrong, man. My question is, do I get the Sigma 85 or 105, or do I get the ultra wide for the 12? I mean, that's personal preference, Tiffany. All right, Kenneth said it might be my copy, but I've had the A7 III overheat indoors at multiple baths. Yeah, man, I never had that problem, so I can't really comment there. Adam Kofer says Tamron is the savior for cheap lenses. Yo, Tamron and Sigma are winning because they are giving G Master level optics at a third of the cost, half of the cost. Most people don't care about a G Master. Most people don't care about L glass. Give me something affordable that gets me 90% of that, 85 to 90% of that performance for a third of the cost. I'm all over it. Good filters to use. Joshua said, Vergara said, I'm into Gobi filters. They're actually well built and they plant trees for every purchase. There are a lot of ND companies out there. I mean, you got Freewell. Well, actually, they don't make full lens size filters. They only make like filters for smaller sensors. But I mean, you got Polar Pro, you got Tiffin, there's 1,000 of them out there. As a rule of thumb with filters, if you go cheap, you're gonna pay. I mean, if you go cheap, it shows. That's one of them things that you can't cheat. ND filters. It's some things like you can get away with cheap lights, right? You can get away with, you know, a cheaper lens, right? As long as you do XYZ, get better light. But one thing you cannot cheat with is a bad ND filter. A cheap one. Because cheap ND filters will destroy your image quality. So if you're going to put money into something, spend money on good ND filters. There's a lot of good ones out there. Sandmark, Polar Pro, Tiffin, Hoya, Goba. There's a ton of them out there. I'm missing 1,000 of them, but yeah. Crazy Rod, what up? What up? What up? Bro, you need to do a B-roll competition. So the next video, the next couple videos that are coming, I got a short cinematic. It's only like 1 minute and 20 seconds coming within the next day or two, just because I felt like creating something dope. But the challenge was we had to shoot it in 1 hour. We only had 1 hour to shoot it, so y'all will see that coming. And also the follow-up video is going to be talking about why HLG3 is my new favorite color profile on gamma space on the A7 III. And I'm also gonna do like a little editing tutorial too. So the next thing I'm dropping will be a 3-part series based off of this short cinematic that I made. Y'all, it'll be coming within the next day or two. It's crazy that you brought up HLG because Sigfist, I'm so sorry if I butcher your name. We just gonna call you Big Sig. HLG2 with color space BT 2020 or Rec 709. I have been finding that I really like HLG3. Still set the BT 2020 in camera and then using a conversion LUT to convert it to Rec 709 on a computer. And the reason why I've been loving it, gives you almost S-Log 2 level of it. Like, it gives you everything that S-Log gives you without the need to mess with that finicky overexposing by 2 stops. Because if you trash S-Log, if you underexpose it or overexpose it, goodbye to your footage. It comes out crap. But HLG3 exposes at base ISO of 125, which means you don't need to worry about overexposing it by 2 stops. You just literally set it and film. Leave it to BT 2020 in camera. Final Cut Pro, the most recent version, has a conversion LUT built into it. However, I use the one by Leeming LUT because it also corrects the colors. So it converts it to Rec 709 and boom, I got all of this extra dynamic range that I would have had to perfectly expose S-Log for, and I had to do none of that crap. So video coming soon in the next few days on that. Danny Wingett, I use HLG 95% of the time. Yo, it's so good, man. It's great. It's like for it to be 8-bit 420 footage, HLG, like, it's like giving us a fake 10-bit camera. It's that good. All right, it's really that good. But Q&A time. If anybody got questions, I know I just went through a bunch. Drop them here. Let me know. We've been holding about 40 to 50 people strong tonight, so I appreciate each and every one of y'all for staying with it, talking this crazy camera buff nerd talk. Thank you to everybody who has dropped super chats. We about to start wrapping the stream up. Don't you leave yet. If you do want to contribute to the stream, to the cause, everything I do, super chats are open, not required. Everything I used in this video, as far as the look, the lighting, the camera, the streaming software I'm using, all of that stuff is down below in the description. If you use Mac, I'm using Ecamm Live. You can use it free for 14 days. You don't need a capture device. You don't need a cam link with Sony cameras or Canon cameras. So check that out. And if you want to know where I get all this dope music from, Epidemic Sound is also below. So again, we're gonna wrap this up in the next few minutes. Super chats are open, not required. The only thing I want you to do, if you don't want to do that, drop a thumbs up, subscribe, tell somebody about the channel TerryWarfield. We picking up steam, we rolling, and I need everybody's help. So if you got any questions for me, any comments, anything I didn't cover, drop it now or forever hold your peace. And for now, we'll jam out. So I'll just give it a couple minutes to see if questions, anything come. And if not, then we'll go ahead and start getting this wrapped up, man. I'm so pumped all of y'all came through tonight. I'm getting hoarse. Like my voice is starting to go away. But, yeah, questions, comments, anything. Fly Natural with the $2.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm looking at the comment on the screen. It says, pair character stretching his arm forward, raising his thumb up. Big shout out, Fly Natural, $2.99. Thank you so much. Michael Mistro Pierce with the $25 super chat, bro. Thank you so much, man. We talked a lot tonight. You've been here the whole time, and I appreciate you for that. Thank you so much for supporting this stream. Why not change the battery for the smoke detector? Why not shut up? How about that? No, I am gonna change it. It's crazy because it was one in the back room that was going off, and I finally figured that one out. And then this one just started going off like a week ago, so I will change that. I'm glad you care about our safety. I'm gonna change that battery. Kenny Williams said, how do you expose for HLG with the A7 III? A tutorial for shooting and grading would be mad helpful. It is coming in the next few days. But long and short of it, I think it's best to overexpose HLG by about 1/3 of a stop. Aside from that, that's it. You don't have to do nothing, man. You just film it like a regular Cine 2 or Cine 4 or whatever profile you want to use. I have found with HLG, it is a little more forgiving if you overexpose it by just a little bit. Just a little bit. Christian said, can I see that light? Can you adjust the Kelvin on it? It doesn't look like anything special. It's a Godox SL60, literally the creator's light. Every creator has one of these bad boys because they rival the Aperture 120D in performance at 1/3 of the cost. So, I mean, it just looks like a regular light with a grid on it. And no, with this one, you cannot adjust the Kelvin. It's just daylight. I think this is set to 5100 or 5600 or something like that. So no, you cannot change it, unfortunately. All right, just Dylan said, just brought the 18-105G lens for my Sony A6400. Should be coming tomorrow. Yo, that's literally one of the best lenses for the crop sensor cameras. Dope lens, man. Do you have any go-to LUTs for HL3? Any good resources for different lux? I actually sell my own custom LUTs. There's a link to them in the description. This LUT right here that you see is actually my favorite LUT that I made about a year ago, called Drama. If you like the look of any of my videos, like any of my cinematic stuff, I'm using the Drama LUT. I just love the way it makes colors look. If you want to download my 8-pack of custom LUTs, the link to it is in the description. They are not specific to HLG. They're not conversion LUTs. They're just LUTs to use to grade regular footage. If you need a conversion LUT, the best LUTs that I found are from a company called Leeming LUT. I will put this down here in the description. Leeming LUT. Okay, they make, it's 25 bucks, but they sell conversion LUTs, which will convert HLG to Rec 709. Now, like I said, Final Cut Pro has those built into it. However, it doesn't also adjust the color, whereas the Leeming LUTs will adjust the color for you. Plus, if you do get Leeming LUT, they also give you Cine 4 conversion LUTs. They give you S-Log 2 LUTs too. So definitely worth checking out. 25 bucks. Honestly, probably one of the best purchases I've made. But definitely check them out. And then, like I said, if you just want LUTs to give you a dope custom look, my custom LUTs are in the description. If you want to support the channel and get some dope LUTs in the process, there's a sell-fi link in the description. My LUT pack is $9.99. Not a lot of money to get some dope looks for your visuals. So, Tamron 70-180 or 70-200 G Master. I made a video on that lens. Matter of fact, I will drop it in the chat for you, because if you're not a moderator, it will block your ass. But the long and short of that is, I think from a value perspective, the Tamron 70-180 is where it's at, because 95% of people buying the 70-200 are not doing it for, I'm about to drop this link for you. This is a video I did where I compared the Tamron 70-180 to the Sony 70-200 f2.8 G Master. I just dropped it in the description. The Tamron is a great value, and if I had to spend my own money, I still got the Tamron 70-180 right over there, actually in the corner. I would absolutely buy the Tamron over the Sony, but that's because my needs, I don't need all the stuff that the G Master offers. I don't need 3 customizable buttons. I don't need the collar. I don't need focus hold. I don't need any of that stuff, man. So what's my favorite lens right now? Absolutely the 24mm G Master. You see this butter right now? See this butter? That bokeh? 24mm f1.4 G Master is my favorite lens. My second favorite lens is the 85mm. I love the 85mm focal length. We got any other questions? Go ahead and drop them questions, man. I'm in the giving mood to give all the knowledge out tonight. So if you ask away, man. And also, again, big shout out to Mitchell for the last super chat of 25 bucks. Respect. Can you shout out DJ Crook? I don't even know who that is. So gonna be a no, dog. You DJ Crook? That's a big no from me, dog. I don't even know what that is. Any other questions? Give it another 30 seconds, man. If you got questions, drop it. Drop it like it's hot. All right, man. I think we are coming to an end, man. We spent, how long we been on here? An hour and some change, man. I did just give him an indirect shout out. You chump. But yeah, man. Thank y'all so much for kicking it with me tonight. Let the camera wars continue. Big shout out to all of y'all. And yeah, that's it. So if nobody got any other questions or anything, we will be back next Thursday for another episode of TNT. Not sure what we talk about, but I will find out. I will figure it out and post it. Whoa. Christian came in with a question. Favorite shoot you've ever done? Honestly, if you go back to my second to last video, there is a video that I did with the DJI Mavic Air 2. That is my favorite at this point. I'll show you. Second to last, Mavic Air 2 cinematic. Can you see that? No? Okay, go on my page and check it out. It's so dope, right? Thoughts on the A6100? Bro, I think the A6100 is a fantastic camera. You can get one on the used market for like $350. And to get a I think like $450. But to get a camera with 4K, all the stuff, all the Sony video modes, great autofocus and a small body. That camera is so dope, man. As long as you don't need picture profiles, because the 6100 does not have picture profiles, and you're okay with the lower resolution rear screen and electronic viewfinder, it's a great camera to get into the Sony ecosystem. Great camera. What's up with the Sony's video lens? I'm not sure what you mean, David. Not sure what you mean. Yeah, Mike, respect, man. Big respect, man. Thank you so much for your support, for staying with it. But yeah, that 6100, honestly, if I didn't have a 6300, I would probably sell it to get an A6100. The only reason I won't is because I do use picture profiles. And the 6100 does not have picture profiles. Picture profiles are a dangerous game to get into. You really don't need them. Sydney, I always mispronounce his last name. Diaxon. I'm sorry, Sydney, if you're watching. Sydney just made a dope video about how people are over-obsessing over picture profiles. What were we doing before picture profiles? So you don't absolutely need them, but they are good to have. I enjoy using picture profiles, but you can also make something dope with no picture profiles. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. If you get anybody else got questions or comments. All right, I guess not, man. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for coming through and kicking it tonight. I really appreciate y'all. Like I said, we'll be back next Thursday. Oh, I'm not sure about cinema lenses, man. I don't get into cinema lenses. We will be back next Thursday doing the same damn thing at the same damn time. Kicking it, having a good time. Going through all the information. Talking, trash talk, TNT, Thursday night trash talk. And that's that. So, again, thank y'all for your support. Piece of chicken grease, much love. And that's all I got for you tonight. We're going to go ahead and wrap this stream up now. Y'all take care. Peace.